And is there anything like the gamers that are watching this? Like some people, they feel a little helpless, saying like, "Well, the games don't affect me this way, but what should I be doing as a gamer?" I mean, what do you think gamers can be doing to sort of help explain that this is not what's going on?
I mean, I think speaking as a gamer and a parent, I could say there's a lot you can do. Because like one of the things that came out of the burning, the fact that they wanted to burn these games, was that really the impetus of that movement was to get parents to talk to their kids, which you shouldn't need to have a school shooting to kind of remind people they should be doing that. So I think that's a good thing. I think that if you're a parent and you play games, you need to, or even if you don't play games, you need to be more plugged into what your kids do.
Right.
You need to participate in it and maybe re-examine what they're playing, because maybe it isn't a good idea that they're playing, 12 hours of Call of Duty.
I mean, there are tons of M-rated games that people under 17 are playing, and that's,
Really? I'm shocked. What are you saying? It's turned my world upside down.
The realm of parenting and things like that. Stephen, you want to say something?
Well, you said gamers feel helpless. They feel like they're being scapegoated or attacked, and I see that. Kotaku readers are reacting that way a lot. We did a big report on 25 years worth of video game violence studies. One of our reporters just read through troves and troves of this, and Brian's right that a lot of the studies leave a lot to be desired. But there's actually the majority of them tend to lean toward the idea that playing video games, possibly violent games, that might be the categorization, do increase a level of aggression in the person who's playing. How do they measure levels of aggression? They measure it with the hot sauce test, which is I'm told that after playing a game, I'm told you can now give hot sauce to somebody and you can affect how spicy it's going to be. And they say, people they play the violent video games, they want to give us extra spicy sauce. Does that really translate into possibly committing an act of violence? Who knows? But there's no studies that say that games cause violence. There are many studies that say that games do trigger heightened levels of aggression. But there's also weird blind spots. There's no good study out there that has compared watching a violent movie to playing a violent video game to see if this medium actually has a more negative impact on the person who's playing it. There's one study we talk about in the report that's the difference between somebody watching a game or playing the same game, and they do see more aggression from people playing it. But what I think is really important is you come to an event like DICE, you come to a GDC, violent video games being under attack has been a thing for years, for decades. Are there any talks about it?
No.
Is anybody getting up and saying anything about it? No, people want to pretend.
We have David Cage saying, we need games with less guns and things like that.
Yeah, so it comes in indirectly. There's not a
Right.
sense, even though this has been a recurring issue, that anybody in gaming
summit
wants to
about,
step
like,
up
what
and
we-
talk about it, do an influential talk. You don't have game designers here talking. You have two journalists talking to you about violent video games. The people who make violent video games, they don't talk. They should talk about what they do, humanize what they do.
Right.
And the gamers, I think they should just talk about what it feels like to play games a little more and start to normalize that activity and not allow it to be this secret thing that happens on the side. I play Call of Duty in my basement. But be open about it. Be open about what you like and why you like playing what you play.
You're right. A lot of it is, the stories and the characters and the world. And, as you said, there are other games even here at DICE, like Journey and other fantastic games that, Fox News is not talking about. And it's always, in certain kind of, corridors, it's all about, the first-person shooters and the violent games.
But you're not a bad person if you play a shooter.
Right.
There are interesting intellectual experiences that happen when you go through the strategy of how you're going to survive. Within every game is a system. Every good game is a system, and you figure out how to get yourself through the system. I don't think most people play shooters with the sense of, I really want to see what it looks like to shoot somebody's head off. So video games, that's going to give me that experience.
No, you're right. It's the AI, it's the puzzles, it's everything kind of blending together. And most people, that don't play games, to your point, just see footage. They don't even understand kind of what's going on inside the mind of a gamer as you play through these things. And we want to be challenged.
I mean, and it is, I think, a very important lesson coming out of all of this is there is a massive amount of confusion about what gaming is, what gaming looks like, among people who don't game. Yeah. And I think even Biden said that.
Well, he said, because he's like watch game versus play, and it was just sort of like the way he talked about it.
That is something that I think the industry should kind of take to heart and say, maybe we should be a little more out there and explain.
Educating what
exactly.
It's all about.
Not just ratings.
All right, thanks very much, Brian and Stephen. It's an important topic, and we'll be hearing more about it, I'm sure, in the future. Next week in the bonus round, we'll be back with Corey May and Dan Connors to talk about writing in video games. We'll see you then.
See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.